Greetings, Dave. I know you're a busy guy, and I know that I tend to babble, as my wife tells me. So I have some things that I'm thinking about and some questions for you, specifically about the bid process. So I thought what I'd do is I'd put this video together where you can advance the speed and even advance forward if I tend to babble a little bit. So with that said, I'm going to start here. You've seen this before. Uh, this is the point where I have selected 5 services for my project. I've configured each of the services, so the bid information and the service information. So these are fully configured. I'll now advance to my service bid request screen here, and this is oh yeah, and then I'll just click the button here to select, my service bid request. So this is new. Wanted to see what you thought of this. Basically, what this is going to display is all of the services that have been configured that have not been sent out for bid yet. So anything that may have already been sent out for bid, it would not be displayed here. So by default, everything is check marked. If there, for some reason, if I don't want to send it out, I can just deselect one of these. And then I'll go ahead and click the button here, and it sends out the bid request. Exactly like we had talked about before. On this same screen, this will now show me the summary information about this. I don't know what to call it now. They call it the bid blast, right? Bid blast number 1. So I got my top line information. There was 5 services in this. It went out to 10 service vendor, and no bid responses have been received as of yet. So now let me flip over here and look at the detail data under this. So here's the detail data for my blast number 1. So again, I have 5 distinct services: termite, home, house, staging, and photos, and then I have the detail on each vendor this is going out to. I have created a status column here, that shows us the status of the bid. So once we do have, say, bids received, so I did, have a couple where I'm going to show bids received, and then I can look at these bids. Wanted to get your thoughts on that. But now, let's say that I've sent out these bids, but then maybe a day or two later, I want to go ahead and add. Let's say that they say, hey, we also need now a roof inspection and a chimney inspection. So I would go back into the screen here. Obviously, I'd need to configure I need to add those 2 new services to my service screen and configure them. And I would click the button here to create the bid request. And I'm not going to go into the detail, but basically a second row would be created on this screen. So this second row would be the 2 new services. So this would be the roof and the chimney. And let's say the roof, I wanted to go to my preferred vendors, and let's say there's 2 preferred vendors. And then maybe the chimney, I wanted to just go to one specific vendor. So in total, this is going to be, there's 2 services that are going to be sent out to 3 vendors. So now on my detail screen here, I'm adding in this batch number 2, right? So I have my bids sent. Now, let's say that we advance several days later, and it turns out for the termite inspection, it expired, my termite inspection. If I could spell it right, EXPIRED. Okay, so now let's say that this expired. I went past the bid-in date and it expired, right? So now, let's say I go back into my screen here, and I now I do an additional bid request that will create a third. And because the termite's expired, I'll be able to, it'll show termite. And maybe I now want to expand my range to the people that I sent it out to before, my 3 preferred vendors, but maybe I want to add anybody in the certain radius. So what that would do then is it would create a third row, and this should actually be 3. I have 2 on there by mistake. So it creates this third row. I'm sending this blast out to just for termite inspection vendors, and it's now going to go out to 5. So the detail data on this third blast would look something like this. So it's termite inspection. Here's my 3 original vendors, and then here's the additional ones that are in my area. So I guess my question to you is, do we want to add a third button? Okay, let me go back. Gosh darn it, I got pulled out of this screen. But let me go back into the screen here. Do we want to add, sorry, I'm flipping around here. Probably driving you nuts, I bet. But my question is, do we want to add a third button at the bottom to basically view all service bids? Because in this screen, I only see the summary information for each of the service, and then I got to click in to see the detail. So I'm thinking, do we add a third button that's like a service bid history button that essentially gives us a view like this, where we can filter. So if I only want to look at bids that I've received responses for, I can, oh, it's not empty. I can basically filter and say, hey, I only want to look at anything where I've received bid responses, or whatever filtering I want to do. So that's my question to you. Do we want to add back in that third button to display everything? Because at this level, I have to go into each sort of bucket to look at the detail. The third button allows me to go into everything. So, and then really in general, I've been thinking about a few things. Can bids be canceled? Can we send out bids and then later take them out or resend them? Can bids be changed? So I'm not creating a new bid batch, I'm making changes. And then secondly, how are changes to service? So let's say that I have a service and I want to change the time. Maybe I need to change the date for the termite inspection to the next day or something. And the bid's already out there. Do I have to create a new bid when I make a change, just to the service information? And then also, how are service cancellations handled? So that's it. So that's what I'm thinking. So I guess I have a few questions in there. I'm sharing my thoughts with you. And, whenever you have the time, take a look and let me know if you want to chat. So with that, continue your day.